I genuinely made a lapse in my judgment. I will put my hands up. I never expected Cucurella to be this good, especially in that France game in the semi-final of the World Cup. And when we signed Cucurella as a, Real Madrid, I was like, it's okay, Cucurella over Carreras. Yes, I get it. It's a little bit of an upgrade. Fair enough. He wasn't too much money. It's an okay signing. But after what I have seen, I'm sorry, bro. Marc Cucurella Dini, bro. Maldini's regen. Marcelo. He might be back, chat. This is the defensive version of Marcelo, bro. He ain't that attacking, but he's that good defensively, and he's a monster. He's a monster, bro. He genuinely nullified Olise, Dembele, Mbappe, Doué, and Barcola in the same game with Pedro Porro. Let's not act like Pedro Porro is great defensively. Marc Cucurella is the defensive one in that defensive fullback duo. Bro, I'm sorry. Him versus France. Let's just look at it, okay? We're gonna glaze Cucurella today because I need to apologize. And I think a lot of you, when we signed Cucurella, we were on the same page, like, yeah, maybe, like he would be a good rotation with Carreras. Maybe they will switch around. Maybe Carreras can even become better. Let's see who starts. Or some of you were like, definitely like, yeah, Cucurella will start, but is it really an upgrade? And if the upgrade is truly there, how much of a gap is between Carreras and Cucurella? I didn't think it was crazy, I just thought, yeah, Cucurella is a better player. And then maybe 2 years or a year from now on, we will maybe see Carreras competing for the spot. But from what I have seen from Cucurella, behind maybe Nuno Mendes, I think Cucurella is the best left back in the world, period. Defensively, on the ball, pressing-wise, position-wise, he's just always there. The only thing genuinely Marc Cucurella has against him that people hate him. And what do we love the most in Real Madrid? People that are hated, bro. Let's be honest, our best players were always hated, bro. Even Cristiano was always hated by everybody because they have egos. This guy has a song, Cucurella Paella, bro. Like, who cares, bro? If you give me this, you can sing after every game. 90 minutes, 63 touches, 17 carries as a left back. 87% passing percentage, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 1 block, 1 last man tackle, 7 defensive contributions, 4 duels won, and 3 out of 4 tackles won. Genuinely, I couldn't find a better word. Monster. And he wasn't playing against, flipping, I don't know, Morocco and flipping Brahim Diaz was cooking him or whatever. No, he was playing against Michael Olise, 250 mil, which we want to sign him. Kylian Mbappe, probably the best player in the World Cup. Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, that was literally on his side the whole game, absolutely nullified. And then when Doué and Barcola came in, they weren't really switching around with Dembele like they used to. I don't know, if we are being honest, France was absolutely shocking, and that was because of the Spain's defense and midfield, bro. Like, Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, genuinely, that's bullying, bro. But Cucurella, for what he did, guys, if we look at this, Marc Cucurella has been dribbled past 0 times in World Cup KO stages. That means round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals. 4 games. 4 games. And they played against some good teams. Let's be honest, they had some great wingers against them. He has been dribbled past 0 times in all of these games. Like, even against Uruguay. What the hell? Uruguay, Austria, Portugal, Belgium, and France. Oh my god, bro. So it goes back into the groups as well. Guys, this is not normal. Genuinely, I never expected this from Cucurella. I always rated Cucurella, but I think the last season at Chelsea really just like clouded my judgment of from what I've seen, especially in the 2024 Euros. Because 2024 Euros, apart from, all of the stuff off the pitch, and maybe the handball against Germany, which was just unfortunate. But like, as a player, he was sensational. And I think we all just looked too much into the last season at Chelsea, because we're going to compare, at the end of the video, we're going to compare Carreras' season and Cucurella's season stats-wise, how they perform defensively, attacking-wise, passing-wise, because there is just clear evidence why Cucurella was wanted by Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho. But I still want to talk about this, bro. Do we actually, need to be hating Cucurella for this? Or is it his personality, the kind that if he plays for your club, you love him. That's like Gavi, bro. Gavi, I couldn't find a worse player that I dislike more from Barcelona. But when you're his fan and he plays for Barcelona, you love him because he's a dickhead. He winds up the opponents. He always has something to say, But this is Cucurella. This is Cucurella, bro. And I would say Cucurella is more tolerable than Gavi. Gavi is genuinely a chihuahua, but I think we will love Cucurella if he plays like this. Once again, though, if he doesn't play like this and he has this kind of mentality, it might be fries. But I'm hoping he, gets this form out of the World Cup and brings it to Real Madrid because that's exactly what we need. And, we have one club to thank for this because they always cook us for not keeping Hakimi, Theo Hernandez, in their prime. Theo Hernandez is a little bit past it, but Hakimi is the one that we truly, truly get cooked for, especially now, when we have had some problems with Dani Carvajal in the last 2 seasons, injury-wise, and then we played, Lucas Vazquez, and then last season, Trent, yes, played pretty well when he played, but he was injured a lot as well, so we should have kept Hakimi, blah, 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 blah. How about Barcelona keeping Cucurella, huh? Wouldn't you like to have Cucurella now? Instead of Balde and who, bro? I don't even know. Fucking Gerard Martin. Who's the center back now, guys? Like, let's be honest, bro. I don't even know if Cancelo wants to play there. I think Cancelo is going to be playing over Koundé, if we're being honest. Because if you don't get a left back or a right back, I think Cancelo, honestly, guys, Cancelo is going to be playing both fullbacks for Hansi Flick. Because Koundé and Balde, I don't know, bro. I think I've seen enough from both, honestly, guys. But thank you. Thank you and good luck at Real Madrid. Because Barcelona, this is your boy. Don't forget it, yeah? Don't forget it, that you loaned him out, you sold him, and now we have him. And I'm gonna cook you, don't worry, because, guys, if you have not forgotten, they wanted Cucurella before we signed him. Cucurella was wanted by Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and then Real Madrid. Of course, who will he choose? Real Madrid. Let's be honest, guys, there was no other choice. Because if we are completely being honest, his, playing style and he sits a little bit deeper. He's not a fullback that bombs forward all the time. He's great defensively. Jose Mourinho is the perfect man. Because in a, Flick system, I think he would have actually struggled. Honestly, guys. Like, Spain doesn't play that high. Chelsea didn't play that high. Real Madrid is not going to play that high. So I think it's actually a perfect choice. He made the perfect choice to go to Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho. And I think this shows it perfectly. This is a graph of Marc Cucurella last season and Alvaro Carreras last season. Carreras in the green and Cucurella in the yellow, of course. Let me make this full screen. We can see that Alvaro Carreras is maybe a little bit more a modern fullback, we can see. Because you can see, like, Area Julius, fair enough, he's a little bit more taller, more athletic. He's a little bit more all-around than Cucurella. And he has progressive passes, and progressive carries. That's nice, that's nice for a modern fullback. But when you're talking about what's better for Jose Mourinho, and that's why I talked about this before in this video, why I think they actually went for him, and why I think he's, the perfect choice outside of Carreras, because Carreras can come off the bench, he can offer something a little bit more attacking, or better on the ball, passing-wise, inverting into the middle. But if you want somebody just solid defensively, that can also do passing, just not up to the point of Carreras, it's Marc Cucurella, because defensive duels percentages, much better. A huge difference between him and Carreras. And then possession one, better than him. Expected assists, still better than him, even though we are talking about Carreras as more attacking. Because Cucurella, when he gets into those positions, is just much more experienced and better than Carreras. And crosses is also better than Carreras. I don't think this is too important when you're looking at this Real Madrid team. But I'm looking at possession one, defensive duels, and then expected assists. Because we need somebody that's actually going to make something happen when they get into the attack. And that's one of Alvaro Carreras' biggest mistakes, I would say, that he gets into this position, but he doesn't really use them, if we are being honest. Like, I remember maybe giving 4 assists and, like, scoring 1 goal. I remember that crazy-ass goal from Carreras, but other than that, he usually gets found out because of that. And then progressive passes, that's all cute and nice. But under Jose Mourinho, what's the number one thing you need to do as a fullback, defender, defensive midfielder? You need to win your defensive duels. You need to, win the possession. You need to be able to defend. That's all there is to it. And when we're once again looking at another defensive duel where Carreras is better than Cucurella, it's a little bit closer than, we need to be saying like aerial duels, oh, it could be a problem for Cucurella. No, it's not that, different from Alvaro Carreras. I genuinely think just Alvaro Carreras is just a little bit taller than Cucurella. That's all there is to it. But I wouldn't be looking at this, stat too much. And even when we are not looking at the stats, because this only shows how they, perform on a stat sheet, how we can be looking at them or expecting them, predicting how it's going to look like under Jose Mourinho. But when I watch Cucurella play for Spain, especially because for Chelsea, I think it's a little bit different because Chelsea fans are now hating on him because I genuinely think he was playing like outside of his comfort zone. He wasn't really feeling it for Chelsea, and many other players were, on the latter stage of the season because Maresca left. All of them were mentally out of it. That's what helps us look at Cucurella now at the World Cup when he's performing at his best, when he actually wants to be there. And I hope it's going to be like this for Real Madrid, because if he plays like he did for Chelsea in the last 6 months, hey, we might be getting cooked. But if we get to Spain Cucurella, we might have got the Maldini region. And I'm sorry for saying you are an okay signing, because Marc Cucurella, I'm going to say it now, will be one of the best fullbacks in the world. And outside of Nuno Mendes, why not say it? He's going to be the best. I think we genuinely underrated his signing so much, and I'm so happy that we got Marc Cucurella. Do I think he will win the World Cup? Maybe. Do I want it to happen? Fuck no! I'm supporting Argentina or England. I don't care. Those Barca, no, they cannot win. They cannot win the World Cup. That's all I'm going to say, bro. I'm happy for Cucurella, but Spain, hold it in the final. Thank you, bro. And France, I hate you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.